Hi, everyone. I just want to introduce the Dev Space a little bit. So welcome to the Dev Space. I'm Edwina, the program coordinator here. I really want to thank you for coming. So a little bit about this space that you're at now. Our mission is to educate the public on Google's tools and to host community events. So you also can follow us on our social media to find out about all the upcoming events that we're going to be having. So you can find it at the back of the room. There's this little poster over there. You can find our Facebook, Twitter, our website, and everything. So a few things to take note at this space is for Wi-Fi, you can log in through the guest Wi-Fi in Google, and the washroom is at the back of the space here. And lastly, for emergency, any case of emergency, we will leave through the evacuation route at the back of this space. So we can follow the exit sign and we'll go down all the way to the car park. So any emergency, just follow me. And that's all I have. If any questions, I'll be around. Just look for me. All right. Thank you. I'll pass this time back to Yongkang.
Thanks, Ed. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I know it's raining days. Yeah, it's a little bit challenging to travel to come here. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Yongkang He. So I was running the Kubernetes Meetup since September. So this is the 7th time we are running the Kubernetes Meetup. And this is the first time also we are running completely hands-on focused learning. So shortly I will introduce the topics for today. So also together with me, actually they haven't arrived yet. So Hanning and Kalyan also helped me to running the Kubernetes Meetup. So feel free to ask us if you have any questions. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the food so far. And yeah, that's good. So the first one, I want to say thanks to our sponsors. So today we have a special guest. So Ryan actually coming here from New York to sponsor us. Not only he bring us the food, so you guys all enjoyed the food, and also they sponsor us the swags. So after you guys finish the lab, hopefully you guys all can complete the challenges. If not, you may not be able to get the swags. I'm just kidding. And also seriously, thanks CloudCasa. Thanks Ryan coming here. And you might have noticed the pull-up banner. It is pretty good. I love it. So thanks CloudCasa for designing the banner for us and also printed the banner for us. So if you guys are not aware, CloudCasa is the best Kubernetes backup as a service tool. And also I want to thanks to Google sponsors the place. It is actually one of my challenges to find the place big enough. So our community is growing so quick. So it's hard to find a place. So thanks Google to sponsor us. I also want to thanks to JFrog to sponsor us. Also very important, we want to make things all running good. Myself, it's not enough. I can't handle everything. So I got a lot of volunteers to help me as well. Big thanks to my volunteers. Yeah, feel free to take more pictures. And I'm also looking for more volunteers, more speakers, more sponsors. So I want to continuously to run the Kubernetes Meetup, which can be beneficial to a lot of the community for people to learn. And you're not just learn, you learn and you also come back to share what you learned from your side. Okay, feel free to follow us on LinkedIn. So that's the LinkedIn page created by Boomi. So feel free to follow us. So far, we haven't created some other pages like Facebook or some other social media yet. If anyone wants to volunteer to create and manage the page, yeah, feel free to let us know. So as I said earlier, we do need more volunteers, more sponsors, more speakers. So I will share the slides. You can have the links. So if you fill out the form, we will come back to you to discuss how we're going to organize the next could be meetup. You can be part of our volunteer group. You can be part of our speakers pool, or maybe you can become our sponsors. So just a few photos from the previous meetup. This is the first one and the second one, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the last time also here at Google. You might have noticed we have more meetups here at Google. So we will continuously to have more and more meetups here at Google. I personally love Google. I'm 5 times a Google Cloud certified, so I love Google. I love Google Kubernetes engine. So that comes to today's topic. We're going to have more focused hands-on learning around Google Kubernetes engine. So if you want to check the previous recordings, we do have the link also showed up here. Today's topic, we're just focusing on the hands-on learning. So we don't have too much talks here. So we will actually, together with me, Sachin, he volunteered to have a topic about a Docker, the hands-on. So we actually will work together to come up with a lab guide, step-by-step how to do it. So you can follow the PDF guide to try by yourself. And in the meantime, we will continue to show you how it works. So after the Docker 101, I will start with the GKE cluster. That's one of my favorite Kubernetes cluster. And in case you are not aware, Google is always the first to release the latest version. So right now, if you look at the managed Kubernetes 1.26, so Google is the first. So some of the bigger cloud providers, it's far away, typically far away behind Google. Okay, so we will learn Google GKE cluster, how to spin up a GKE cluster in just a few minutes. So again, we will learn the latest 1.26. And after that, we will talk about a GKE backup. So day one task, I need to spin up a GKE cluster. But once you have the GKE cluster, what about my security? What about my backup? What about my DR or migration? You might want to move from on-premises to the cloud, or maybe from one cloud to other cloud, or other cloud to Google Cloud. So these are the day two tasks, very important. So I will have the hands-on focus on the GKE backup piece. So last but not least, we typically have the open mic time to take a photo. If you guys don't mind, we take a group photo and then a little bit more social networking. And feel free to have a little bit more conversation, could be some Q&A. So that's typically how the workflow looks like. The open mic time, that's toward the end. So typically we're going to give, if anyone willing to share anything, or you have something to announce. It could be, some of the topics, some of the meetups upcoming, or it could be you just want to introduce yourself. So this is an opportunity for everybody. We are from the community. We give you opportunity. Some of the people might be afraid of talking. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for you to introduce yourself, to practice. And if you're aware, anyone is looking for a job, or you have a job, your company is hiring, yeah, it's a great platform to help each other. Okay, I might just introduce the upcoming meetups. These are the meetups I am aware of. So our next meetup, we're going to have a Kubernetes meetup. That's the 14th March at SNCC office. That location we haven't finally confirmed yet, but that's the one we're planning to do. And also come back here, 21st March, we're going to have another meetup here at Google. As I say, I love Google. We want to come back more often. And then if you guys are interested, there is also AWS security meetup on 7th March. And 8th March, we have a platform engineers Singapore meetup. Okay, I think I've done enough talking. Is there anybody has any questions? No question? All good? So let's get our hands dirty. So here is a link. So double G, that's a Google guide. Okay, googleguide.kasug.com. You will be able to access the OneDrive. It's a PDF document to guide you through the hands-on experiences, how to use the Docker. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Sachin to starting from the first lab, the Docker 101 hands-on. Sachin, over to you here.
Based on the OS which you have in your place, if you want to configure on your laptop, you can do for Docker. You get scared of that. Okay, it's shared out there, yeah. So whichever is your OS, if you want to install a Docker, because Docker does not require you to have GK to be there. If you want to install in your local machines, the links are there. But in our case, I will go ahead with Google's VM. Just I'm connecting to the VM. Oh, yeah. I hope everybody have the laptops, right? I believe people who doesn't have the laptops can just view from here and see what exactly I'm doing. There are multiple ways. This OS is Ubuntu on Google VM, and there are multiple ways of installing Docker desktop, but my preferred way, which I feel it to be the most convenient and the easier one, is you will find the link out there in the document. Just copy paste that. Ignore. Yep. If you come here, you will find .ch. This is the one. Oh, yeah. So if you see .cs, which is my preferred, everybody have their own preferences. Go ahead with the preference which you have, but I find this to be the most easiest one. Okay. Just copy paste. It will install Docker desktop on the VM. It will check what is the OS you have, what are the software you have installed priorly. Its shell script have everything out there. So you don't have to worry out there. So it will install all the required prerequisite for you. If you see in the document, it's here. Step 4, we will be working on Ubuntu version for Docker, and this is the link for that. And if you are not able to find that, you can just copy paste from here. Okay, I've just copy paste the script out here, but maybe with time they will make the required changes out there, and you want to refer the actual source, you can go and do that. So now it's done. To check whether Docker install, this is, yep, your Docker is installed. The version is 23.0.1. Next, the first activity we do is we'll create a alias. Because when you're working on VM, they will prefer to you to, yeah, please. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. I'm really sorry on that. It's, I think I will minimize it. Okay. So the basic first step is, okay, we will create an alias, which is a little easier. Yeah. Center. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's better. People can see down. Yep. Thank you. We require your inputs on this. So now we just, okay, in Docker, grammar is very important. Okay, singular, plural, it play a very important role. Just like if you find I put in images, which is plural, it expect you to give me the informations out there. When we have image and we put pull and we give nginx. What exactly this syntax is doing is it's going to the Docker public image or Docker Hub registry. Let's go there. All the images out there. This is called public image. Okay. So if you don't provide anything at the end, let's go back to the script. Okay. Here, if I don't provide any tag, okay. So here, if you see there are multiple tags out there. If I provide here like 1.23, okay, it will download 1.23 versions out there. If I don't provide this, okay, it will assume that it have to download the latest version. Okay, just to adhere to the lab, I will go ahead with this. Otherwise, so in this case, first thing, it will check if the image is there. And now again, we will do that. So we got our first image out there. In Docker, after getting the image, the next activity is to create the Docker container. So let's do that. So we are just running the creating the container out there. The first thing, let's give the name to it. Give the name as Docker 101, which is the name of the session, and the image which we have downloaded out there. This is nginx. So if you see here, by default, when you run and if there is a process running, your current shell will be blocked. Okay. Or the option for you is if you press Control-C and go to PS to check whether your process is running, it got killed. Okay. The reason is you just exited from that. But if you want to know the history of it, you go PS-A and you can see it is exited with code 0. Okay, code 0 is when you use Control-C, when you will go through the multiple exit codes while doing the session out here. So let's go with the lab. We'll type Docker. Not do that. Let's do one more thing. Let's kill this, because if you have any existing process with the same name and if you try to create one more, it will not allow you to do so. Yeah, let's follow the manual. Okay, let's do the image. So we pulled. Okay. What exactly we are doing here is we are telling to create a new image with the name Docker 101. We are specifying the port. This will be our host port. Okay, this will be the port on from which our host will be communicating, and this will be the container port. And again, at the end, we are saying this is the image to be used. As usual, it will block the session. We will go and create new shell to make call to that. Any queries, any questions, please be open, ask it. Yeah, please. Yeah. gg.k8SUG.com. I believe, yeah. So we have just made the call to our Docker image, which we have just created. So, yeah, okay. If you try to use the alias which you have created on the last shell, it will not work here. There's one thing which should you know. If you want to make alias which should work, you have to make the entry in RC file. That's something I have to have. Sorry? Okay, we are on step 8. So what we have done on step 8, we have created a Docker image. Okay, so what we have done in this is we have said to access that port, you should access from port 80, and the port for the Docker is 80. Okay, as so we have, if you can see on the screen, I have 2 terminals running. So this is the one where my container is running, and this is the other terminal from which I'm accessing. Okay. I hope clear. Shall we move? And thank you for asking questions. Please continue. So in next case, what we will do is our last shell was block. Okay. We say it is attached. This time we will detach. So what we will do is we want the new container to be built, but we don't want this shell to be blocked, which happened in this case, right? So we will run this again image. So in this time, if I want to check, I have 2 instances of container running now. One is on 80. And one on 8080. Okay. But in first one, the first container which I created, I cannot use the shell. If I want to use the shell, I have to kill it. But when you detach, okay, you have the control over the shell and you can work. So in easy term, it have went into background. Here with your shell, if you close the shell, your existing container will also get closed. Okay. Let's go back to the lab. Let's bring back that shell. Now both the shells are locked. Let's open the third shell. Yep. So let's create one more terminal. Okay. Any questions? Love to answer questions. I know people will be, most of people know it. This is basic. I know that. Is maybe somebody doesn't know, for them it's a good start out there. So we have created two containers or Dockers image out there. What we will do now is we will go into the OS out that. Okay. So now the second container image which we have created, with the help of this command, sudo docker exec, that is execute. IT stand for interactive terminal. That means from this terminal, I want to interact, okay, to a terminal, which the next step, the command asks is which image you want to connect to. So if you see the document on step 9, we have created one container image. In step 11, we want to go inside that shell. If anybody have challenge, so please, I'm trying, I help you on that. So this is the container image, and I want to access the shell of that. Okay, right now I'm there. I want to check which OS is this. So it's Debian version 11 Linux out there. Okay, to cross check, let's go to here. So if you see here, it says Debian Bullseye Slim version, which is used out there. Okay. I don't know, it's lots of things. So let's exit from the container shell and follow the manual. So if you want to see, if you open the log for Docker container 101.de, command is sudo docker logs, okay, docker 101.de, the second container images which you have created. So it will show all the commands out there. You want to cross check the information you got is correct or not. Okay, where is the second way? Okay, which is this process? This is there, this is there. Yeah, this is Docker. Okay. This did that. So if you compare here, the log image, as it was in detached mode, cannot see. Okay, let's see the image for this one because it is at least still attached. Docker 101. So you can compare the last request. It says 1103 for 10, 1103.10, and it's get request 200 was the response, 615, 200 was the response, 615, and it's a call from 7.58. Wow, same here. Now you want to check how much is the RAM or memory consumption for this specific Docker image. You can do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you see here, let's expand a little bit because it's easy to understand. Come on. So the container ID is this. Name of the container is Docker 101D. CPU utilization at present is 0. Memory utilization is 3.434 megabyte. Limit is 3.836 gigabytes. Memory consumption is 0.09. IO operation is 1.75.57 KB. And block IO is 197 baud KB there. And process ID is 3. Okay. Any questions? Okay, people are doing, that's good. Now let's start kill this instance which we are not using out there.
Sorry? Lighting people, is it? No. Oh, okay. I'm waiting to go to level 3 or 3. For which company? For which company? Anything? There is an event, Google. Oh, event.
Everybody able to hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, it's there, right? If you have any problems, please let me know. Okay.
Yeah. Do you have access to level 3?
Yeah, please. Yeah. So we created 2 container images. Okay. One with Docker 101 and one with Docker 101DE. So when we created Docker 101, okay, we did not added the tag of -d. So we want to detach. First one was, it was attached with the shell. And second, when we created, if you see step 8 and step 9, if you compare, there is -d out there. And the port is also different. So when you use -d, you want to detach, you want to use the shell further. You don't want to block the shell for the same container instance. So there are 2 different, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, one in the background, one in
do
the
you know
front.
where is usually the event room? Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can, it's up to, see, it's just what is your business requirement, you can define as per that. Okay, so if you want to have, just like for the sake of demo, I'm doing out there, when we really work on projects, we never let we'd never ever run without -d. All our images run or without any, we don't let this happen. But as a part of training, you should know every part. Because it's 101, right? It's basic. So basics should be covered.
Yeah. So I think I just read the instructions, but I didn't get the context.
No issues. No, thank you. Thank you for the questions. Let's kill Docker 101. Okay. Yeah, please.
Do something that I can do in detached mode that I cannot do in
We do on the dash mode, but we cannot do on the attach mode. See, detach and attach is just you are making your to work on the background and on the front. What we can, I can take these questions, okay, and for this special use cases, we will put it in our blogs out there. That could be easier because these are questions good to have that. Okay, so we will note it down, and this is something which, okay, sorry. I'm not very familiar with handling the mics out there. So please bear with me when anything is, thank you. So in that cases, what we can do is we can write a blog on that and put it out there. So do follow us on K8SUG. Definitely, we will try to write a blog and put it out there. Thank you. So what we have done now, we have killed the two containers which we have created, Docker 101 and Docker 101DE. Okay. So next activity is to create a volume. Volume is the storage. Okay. So when you create volume in Docker, there are two types of volume which you can create. One is named. That means the volume you want to name, just like when you have a drive to your machine. So either you can just have the proper path, we call that as anonymous, or you can name the drive. Okay. Anonymous is not, it's not a considered practice for us to do that. We always go with the name. We go with the name volume. So let's create the name volume. Okay, just one. Okay. Sometimes, okay, that. Yeah, please. Kill is, we will do remove as well. Okay, when it is in process, you can kill. If you want to remove, okay, even I have killed this. Let's do that. Okay. So if you see from the PS process, it's not there. When I want to see all processes, it is there. So when you go with, when we go for RM, it will be removed from here as well. So it's a habit for us as a developer to, once even we remove it, we want to clean it up as well. So it is still occupying the space in your system, but if you see in PS, it doesn't show it up to you. We have, right? Yeah, we have at the end. We have removed at the end, I think. So we have created the volume. Let's go to the document. So in this run command, what we are providing out there is giving the Docker image name as Docker MySQL, because we are using MySQL image out here. Okay. The volume which we created, Docker 101 vol, we are mapping this volume to etc mysql/conf.d. We are creating an environment variable. The name of the environment variable is mysql_root_password. And the password which we are giving out there is Docker 101. Again, this one is again detached. And the image which we are using is MySQL. So the first thing it does is it check whether the image already exists or not. In our repository, we don't have that. So it's downloading the image from that. Once it's download, it's there. Yeah. Next activity as per the document is we are now using the image which is already available in the public. Now the next step is we will create our own image. Okay, to create the image, there is two steps. Either you can write the complete step and then run it, which is not industry practice. So we are not covering out there. So the industry practice is to create one file called as Docker file. We will do with that. So let's go to VA, Docker file. So what we did is we type VI. Okay, let me close this. So we have typed vi docker file and get in it. To make in vi shell or editor, we have to press I to insert anything. Then we'll go to the our okay. Okay. We'll copy paste this image, the code which we have written. Okay. Once you have done your copy paste part, press escape, double quotes, WQ. Okay. This one part is to check the volume which we have created. Sorry, I did not follow the manual. There was one step where we can see the volume out there. Okay, so let's do that. So, okay, just a step. The command is sudo docker inspect docker mysql. What it exactly does is it will open our Docker image, all the informations which we have enter inside that. In this case, we are using MySQL. All these informations out there. So we are only interested towards mount. Okay. To show that the volume which we have created, the name of the volume out there, and the destination we specified in our script is etc/mysql/conf.d. Okay. Back to our Docker file. What we have done is we have told the Docker build image that we want to use Alpine image. That's the first layer. What action we want to perform is the command which we want to perform is echo. And in echo, what we want to do is say hello Kubernetes user group. And the label is just like tags which you provide. The tags we provide saying that it's Kubernetes user group @ K8SUG.com. Now let's build that image. We'll type build. Okay. We'll type build -t. That will be the title. What is the title we want to give to that specific Docker image? And we love the word Docker 101. Oh, sorry. So what it does is it downloaded the Alpine from Docker Hub and build the image for us. So to check the image, we can go to. So now we have 3 images with us. One is MySQL, second is Docker 101, third is Nginx. 2 weeks ago. Okay. Best part of using Alpine is the size. If you see other Docker images, it's 530 and 142 MB versus if you use Alpine, it's 7.05 MB. If you're using Alpine, at least it's my observation, what we found it out there is it doesn't work on Mac and Windows machine. It works smoothly on Linux. That's my experience. If anybody have worked and they do not have any issues with Mac or Windows, lucky guy. At least I'm not able to succeed on that. So just his add-on information. So we created our image. Let's run. To run, how exactly we do is we go to docker sudo docker run and then the image. So in this case, the image we have is Docker 101. So as per our instruction, it echo the command, and Docker have one thing. If you don't have any further work, it will kill that instance. In this instruction, what we said is just echo this. And if you go to Docker PS, you will not find your image out there. But if you go to -a, this is the command which you have run and it exited. Okay, one more thing. If you don't provide a name to Docker image, Docker gives very nice names, which is very not nice not to use this. So it forces us to give us, see, it give me crazy Maxwell. It forces you to adhere, give a proper naming. If you don't, it gives a name which make you feel. So have a practice of minus name when you're building your images out there in Docker. I believe you have done. Now let's check what are the things which we have. And so we have this image, MySQL, which is running on the background. Okay, in detach mode, bring it to attach and let's kill it. Okay, as usual, when you have attached, better to use another terminal. Okay. Yep, this is free. Oh, okay. So in Docker, there is two ways you can work. Either you can contact images and work on that. Second option is you can use the ID. If you, okay, sorry. If you see the first one, it says ID. And best part of using the ID, you don't have to give the complete name. Normally, most of the time, even I use the first character and it works. Okay, so you have option both the times. Either you use the name if you like it. When we are using, we prefer to use container ID, which is easier and preferred and the best practice. So better to go with the best practice out there.
Sachin, there is a question
Yep.
asked from Zoom. Is the Alpine support lacking for Apple Silicon?
No, doesn't.
So
Mine is also a Mac. It doesn't work.
okay, so
Intel, I don't know. Huh?
There's no issues to run it on Mac M1, M2.
See, I have tried on M1. My laptop is M1. It doesn't work on Alpine. Doesn't work on L1. I even checked with one of the colleague. He have Windows machine. Even on Windows machine, Alpine doesn't work. Okay, at least our experience is Alpine doesn't work. For Alpine, we make sure we have a Docker image or we use what do you call VirtualBox and work on it.
So answer is
No.
right now doesn't work.
See, that's a statement.
Okay.
I have not experienced. As per my experience, for me it didn't work. It worked with Linux.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
my statement is
That's a good answer. For the whole,
it's working.
the whole
Windows, yeah, that's my experience too. So third one is giving statement. Statement is big thing, man.
It might take some time to make it working.
One more blog, one more activity for the blog. So one of the questions of scale versus RM. So let's go to, I believe, wiped out everything. Sorry. Yep. So it says you are clean. Let's see. So there are 4 images which are still occupying the space out there. So we will use sudo docker rm. And in this case, we will remove all the 4 instances in the single go. And let's see, okay, good is first, if you see the first container image, container ID, I hope, yeah, here. If everybody are able to see it, right? If anybody, any problem anywhere, please raise your hand and or directly speak, man. I don't have any problems out there. So we will go with 9, 4, F, and 6. Okay, again, so all the images, all the image instance we have. So recommended as a developer, we preferred to use ID. Okay, but due to the name issues, because at times we have to give demo to the client, and Docker naming is really nice. So we do name, but when it comes to killing, we prefer to kill with a single character. So once this is done, the last part of us is, let's go to sudo docker images. So we have 4 images. If you see the image ID out here, it's 4, 1, and 3. So let's try this. Whether okay, let's make it interactive. It's ending, man. Whether it will work or no. Any guess? Work? Hi, RMI. Yes, RMI. Okay. Yes. It worked. Let's see whether our image is still there or not. Yep, gone. So that's my demo. Very sweet and simple, small. Questions, please ask the questions. To be very honest, see, I will give you a brief history about Docker. Okay. Docker runs, there is nothing Docker. Docker use LXC container. What is LXC container? The Papa is here. Google shared the namespace and C group code to Linux kernel in 2006, I believe. Okay. So Linux, as it is injected inside Linux, Linux, and LXC is built on Linux. Okay, Docker, Kubernetes is their base is only Linux kernel. Okay, so even you are working, it is recommended. I don't want to give statements, not a good practice to do so. So as per my advice, if you want to work, better have VirtualBox, put Linux and work. That's advice. You will find lots of issues. I don't see giving statements is not a right advice out there. But if you want to get your work done, I'm telling you how to get your work done. Currently, they have issues. You're not working on this kernel. as you don't have kernels, you are Linux wrapper and whatever wrap that you're working and getting your work done. When you don't have your kernel and it just what do you call it? They just make a bridge out there and make it compatible. So all the things will not work. That's obvious, right? You're just wrapping up and even if you're going to leave out there in container out there, it just create one core container. The process is creating inside process in the parent. It just okay. It's getting to details. We will have one more session where we have deep dive out there. Any other questions?
Thanks, Sachin.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope everybody learned something about the Docker. All right.
Thank you. यार बेल्ट डाला है अरे यार ये चीज तो सबसे पहले बताना चाहिए वहां पे बाजू में खड़े
So if any one of you guys don't like me, so just remember this URL, Google Guide, and then K8SUG.com. So it will open up the lab guide. So the next one is I'm going to show you how to spin up a GK cluster. That's one of the very popular Kubernetes cluster. So if you are here in the lab guide, you can see, let me make it bigger. So I'm going to jump directly to the second part, page 10. So now we're going to log into Google Cloud and we will activate the Google Cloud Shell. So if you haven't got the Google Cloud account yet, I want to be able to help you. You don't need the Google Cloud account. Once you have the Google Cloud account, so you go to cloud.google.com and then press enter. So you need to log into the right account. By the way, in case you are not aware, Google actually provided you 90 days trial, which is completely different than other cloud provider. They typically only give you 30 days. So 90 days, awesome, lots of stuff you can try. And you got the $300 credits. I mentioned many times I love Google Cloud. I always use the trial account. After 3 months, I just paid another one. So I'm going to click the console. So we're going to first log into the console. And once you log in, you can see your host project. So if you log in, when you sign up the Google Cloud trial account, they do ask you to provide the credit card details. Once you provide the credit card details, actually, I haven't shared the screen. Sorry, guys. Let me. Sorry, guys. Can you guys hear me from Zoom? Can you guys see the screen? I'm sorry for that. Let me see. So let me restart a little bit. So first of all, you log into Google Cloud and you from there, you click the, I haven't finished the last one yet. So when you sign up with the trial account, you don't need to provide the credit card details. You need the bill payment details. Otherwise, you want to be able to have the full access. But you don't need to worry about too much about the charge. Even you overused more than $300, you want to be able to get charged unless you choose to upgrade. That's based on what I know. Okay. And once you log in to the Google Cloud account, you click this icon here. It's called Activate Cloud Shell. it take a few seconds, you can move this window bigger because I'm not going to use the rest of the part here yet. And first of all, you need to click authorize. So click authorize, and then I log into the Cloud Shell. So how to spin up a GKE cluster? The automation scripts I created, and it's available from the GitHub page. And I got the document also here. So we are here, we already activate the Cloud Shell. And if you're not in the right projects, the projects basically you might create multiple projects for different application or different teams. You need to be logged into the right project. Otherwise, you spin up a GKE cluster from other projects, which you don't really, it's not supposed to use, okay? So for this case, I'm using my first project. Actually, you guys will see the same thing if you create a trial account. So your first project, it's called my first project. And from here, you make sure you're using the right project ID. So if I'm coming back here, you can see my project ID is this one. If you don't have the project ID set from the command line, you do need run this command gcloud config set with your right project ID. Otherwise, you want to be able to, same thing, you're not in the right project. You might run in some other project that you don't have the permission. So this is very important. You need to set the correct project ID. And then all you need to do is you just copy the whole command here. So I'm going to copy the git clone command. So we're going to clone the repository, the scripts from my GitHub page to where? To the command line, to the terminal. Do I have an existing one? Let me remove my existing one. Okay, so now it's gone. So all I need to do is I just paste the command here, press enter. So it's done, just a few seconds. And then you will see there is a directory here. It's called GKE-Casa. You change it to the directory, or you just go back to the lab guide. You copy the whole command. Since I already run the first command, I just copy the second part. Actually, let me copy the whole. I just go back to the last step. So I copy, paste the whole command here. I change it to the directory, just run the K8SUG, K8SUG, sorry. So what's going to happen is we're going to enable the GKE API. If it wasn't enabled yet, it might take a few more seconds to enable the GKE API. So for any one of the service, if it wasn't enabled by default, you need to enable the API for any other service. It's just one of these. So now it says you're ready to deploy. So go back to the lab guide. Now, what we can do is from the page 11. So we're going to deploy and build our first GKE cluster. So you copy the whole command here, /GKE-deploy. And paste to the command line. Can you guys see? Actually, let me make the slide a bit bigger. What about now? Yeah. Okay, press enter. So now we are creating the GKE cluster. So behind the scene, we will create the GKE cluster control plane first, and then create the node group. On Google, it said node pool. So when you talk about, if you guys missed the last Kubernetes 101, when you create the Kubernetes cluster, you will always have a control plane nodes or master nodes. And then you have the actual worker nodes. That's where you are running your actual application. You got all different containerized application. It's not actually running from your control plane. It's running from your actual worker nodes. So typically you have, for high availability environment, you always have like a 3 master nodes, control plane nodes. since this is a managed Kubernetes cluster from Google Cloud, you don't see the control plane node, you don't see the master nodes. So what we can see is after the cluster has been created, it takes about 5-6 minutes. Sometime it could be a little bit more than 5 minutes, and the cluster will be ready. So for the testing purpose, I'm not going to create multiple nodes. I just create one single node, work node. Okay, because there is no point for the testing. Yeah, even $300, it's free. I don't want to waste the resources. Okay, so now we are creating the GKE cluster, and also part of the automation. Not only I create the control plane, the work nodes, I also deploy the sample database application. So typically people running, I never saw anybody running Oracle database in the containers yet. So very commonly you see PostgreSQL, MySQL, Red, Cassandra, MongoDB, Kafka, all of these are popular running from the containers. So I deployed the PostgreSQL part of the automation, and shortly you will see the cluster is up running. You see the control plane, you see the worker nodes, you see the different namespaces. The namespace is like a virtual. You have the same cluster, you want to run in multiple applications. Typically, each application will have a different namespace. You don't want to mix the hundreds of applications into the same namespace. Okay. Any questions so far? Are we all good? Can you guys, are you guys all follow me? Already started to create the cluster. Yeah, it takes about 5-6 minutes. Yeah. So if I coming back to the lab guide, so you can see we're creating the cluster. After the job finished, you will see similar screen like this. Let me make the slide a little bigger. So it will display you total time to build the GKE cluster with PostgreSQL. Last time when I took the screenshot, it took 5 minutes, 18 seconds. So everything is ready. By the way, Google is the fastest to spin up a managed Kubernetes cluster. Do you guys know how long it takes for other cloud? New cluster. You create a new cluster. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. So for AWS, they manage the Kubernetes cluster called EKS. It does take about 20 minutes. If you do the same thing to create to deploy a sample database, and also something I haven't mentioned is part of the automation, actually part of the create of the GKE cluster, you have the CSI driver also enabled already. You guys know the CSI, container storage interface. For Amazon, actually, you need to separately enable the CSI. By the way, I also have the automation to create Amazon EKS cluster. The total. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. So for AWS, they did not make life easy. So they get multiple add-on. So by default, the CSI is not enabled. You need to apply the add-on to enable the CSI driver. So for Google here, you can see, actually, this time it's pretty fast. Can you guys see 5 minutes and 4 seconds? My cluster is up running and the CSI driver enabled. And also my sample database is also deployed.
Yeah.
So how about you guys? Have you guys created the cluster yet? Yeah. Okay, so coming back next. So we'll go back to the lab guide. If I copy the next command, kubectl get nodes, paste it here. So how many nodes I have? I only have one node. Yeah, that's running 1.26. And this column is very important. Is that ready? So the status is that ready? And how long time ago? It's 101 seconds ago we created the single node cluster. It's already up running. So continue to the next step. If you want, you can verify from the web console as well. So under the navigation menu or hamburger, people talking about the hamburger menu. And from here, you can see the Kubernetes engine. So I'm going to click the, so for me, I click a command, click. So it will open a new tab. Otherwise, it will open in the same tab. So if you're using Windows, you probably press the Control and the click. So in the new tab, you can see my cluster is up running. So I was running from a US Central one. The reason I was running from a US Central one is it is the cheapest I can find. Yeah, even $300. I don't want to consume all of this immediately. I was choosing the cheapest one. So my single node, just one node, 2 CPU, 8 gigabytes memory. It's enough for me to do the testing. Yeah. If you guys want to, you can explore a little bit more. You can click the link. So it'll give you all the details of the cluster. So I leave you guys to explore a little bit more from the dashboard. By the way, the Google Cloud, the Kubernetes engine, the dashboard also pretty useful. So coming back to the lab guide, you can see any question here so far? So by now, we just spin up a GKE cluster. What do you guys think? Awesome, so simple, so easy. Only like a few minutes, you can create a cluster. But I haven't shown you, I forgot to put the other two commands. I'm going to show you now. So if I'm coming back to the Cloud Shell, if I do another command here, kubectl get namespace. Oh, it's below. Let me move this a little bit. Actually, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to run another command. I haven't put in the lab guide yet, but I will update. So this is command to list how many namespaces you currently have. Not only I have the system namespace, so the default namespace, kubenode list, kubepublic, kubesystem. I also deployed a sample database from a Yongkang-PostgreSQL. So it's almost 4.5 minutes ago. And it is also running if you verify the port status. So I'm going to verify all the port status. You can see all of my ports also up running. So it's mainly the ready, the column. You need to make sure not only showing ready and also pass the showing running, also pass readiness check. So typically it will be showing 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, or could be 3 by 3. It's up to you how many containers running in the same port. But if it's showing 0/1, 0/2, that means your port, your container is up running, but not pass the readiness check. Okay, so that means even the container is running, but it doesn't provide the right service yet. Okay. So these are just the simple command to verify if my cluster is running, how many nodes you have, what are the typical namespace is running, are all of my containers are up running okay. So the next. Okay, let me just repeat the question. So his question is, we just create the one node, work nodes That's the node which actually running the containers, running the applications. Where is the control plane nodes or master node? So as I mentioned earlier, for the managed cluster from the cloud providers, you don't see the control plane nodes. It's created by the cloud provider. It's behind. You don't get the control. You don't get the manage the control plane nodes. By default, it's running 3 control plane nodes. No, you can see the master node motions the same, but you can't, even AWS you can't control. You can't, yeah. Yeah, that's a very good question about the upgrade. Whatever you're running Google GKE or Amazon EKS, the upgrade is a bigger problem actually. So most of the customers tend to running behind of the latest version. Let's say the customer is running 1.22. It is actually almost out of support. 1.26 is already there. But all the cloud providers, they give you the options to do the upgrade. So you just, from the web console, you can select the version to do the upgrade. But they don't give you the option to skip the version to the latest. That means that from 1.22, I need to go to 1.23, then 1.24, then 1.25 before you come into the latest 1.26, if it's available. So the next tool, which I'm going to cover, is the GKE backup. So the same thing for others, could be EKS backup. So using the third-party tool, especially CloudCasa, it makes life a lot easier. You can skip the version to the latest. Instead of you do the in-place upgrade, most of the time actually you will be surprised. There will always be surprise because the API changes and some of the API deprecated. When you do the in-place upgrade, you might break stuff. So instead of doing the upgrade, you actually take a backup from your 1.22. I'm going to restore directly to 1.26. Yeah. No, there is no downtime. So that's the next topic I'm going to continue here. So we're going to create the trial account from CloudCasa, and then I will show you how easy you can complete the backup from the UI, and then how to do the restore. Okay, so let's continue. We already up here. So which page? So page 13. So now we are going to sign up a free trial account from CloudCasa. It only takes probably 2 minutes. You can create the account. The good thing is that you are not being asked to provide any payment details. They don't ask you because they provided the free options to you. So you got the complete forever free version as well. So let me open a new tab. If you click the link also, it will take you to this page, cloudcasa.io. And from here, so by the way, you can see CloudCasa named as a leader in the by GigaOM. So that's the third party, the only third party to on the market to, basically they're targeting who are the players in this space doing the Kubernetes data protection. And the CloudCasa is one of the leader and the outperformer. So how to create a trial account? You just click a try now. And shortly, you will be asked to provide fill out the form. Again, as I said, no payment details at all. You just provide your email address, you create a password, your name, and your job title, etc. Once you got all of these details, you click sign up. It only takes a few minutes, probably no more than a few minutes. And after you click sign up, shortly you will receive the email. You click verify from the email, and then you can log into the web console. So I'm going to pause here. Any questions? And in the meantime, without sign up the account, you won't be able to continue the rest of the labs here. Okay. Any question? So if you the free account, actually, if you're curious how many nodes I can use, if you click the pricing here, it gives you the options here. So from the licensing model point of view, CloudCasa also makes life a lot easier. They don't care how many work nodes you're running, how many clusters you have. They only care the backend storage. So for less than 100 gigabytes, it's completely free. You don't need to pay anything unless you choose to buy the enterprise support. Okay. So once you go to the account, you can come back, click sign in. So it will take you to this page. You need to provide your email address and then your password. Then you can sign into the account. Have you guys created the account yet? Okay, so I'm going to click sign in here. So once you log in, you can see this is a very easy, simple to use web console. From here, you can see how many jobs is running and how many clusters you have, who are the cloud providers. For the top cloud provider, the Google, Azure, and also AWS, you do see the icon here, but it doesn't mean CloudCasa doesn't support other cloud. Literally any cloud is supported, or even your on-premises Kubernetes, whatever it's a vanilla Kubernetes, or it's OpenShift, or Tanzu, or SUSE Rancher, all supported. But it's just in terms of the functionality, the three top of cloud, you got the best of the best. Okay, I will show you shortly. So now from here, if I go back here, the next step here, page 13, 14, we already logged into the account. How I'm going to connect to my cluster? So that's the first step. We're going to, from the web console, under the configurations, there is a cluster. So from there, you can click add a cluster. That's where we are going to connect to my newly created GKE cluster 1.26. So from here, under configurations, let me make this small, a little bit bigger. From here, configurations, you can see clusters. Click clusters. And then you go to all the options here. I do have some other clusters listed here as well, but it's all pending. Because for my testing, once I just destroy the whole cluster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click add a cluster. What we are going to ask you is you give a cluster name. So let's say this is GKE for workshop. Basically, any name you can use. And you might want to give some descriptions. Otherwise, you can follow the document. So the lab guide here, you click add a cluster, you give it the cluster name, you give it a description. If you want to, you can add a tag. And once you've done all of these, you basically click register. That's how we are going to register the cluster to CloudCasa. But it wasn't done yet. So behind the scenes, we're going to give you a customized command. Basically, it's a YAML file. And then you copy the YAML file. This is a copy button. Copy this YAML file or the command line. So keep control, apply the YAML file. And then from the Cloud shell here, I'm going to paste the command here, press enter. So that's how we are going to connect the GKE cluster to CloudCasa. So CloudCasa also, it's a managed backup as a service. So why customers choose managed Kubernetes? They don't want to manage, they want to simplify the upgrade, maintenance, cluster creation, destroy, etc. what about my backup? So when it comes to backup, do you really want to manage the backup by yourself? Why not choose manage backup? That's where CloudCasa really shining is here. So your backup also use the manage backup. It comes with the storage as well. So right now you can see on the screen. So we running the command, we create a different namespace. It's called CloudCasa-IO. We also created service account. We created this role binding, cluster role binding. We also have a deployment. Now, if I'm coming back to the guide, so the command is really just install lightweight agent to the GKE cluster. So we already running the command. So the next command you can copy from here. And then paste the command from the terminal. You can verify to see if the agent is up running. Can you guys see on the bottom of the screen? My CloudCasa Kubernetes agent manager is running. My Kubernetes agent also running. 1/1 and the 2/2. So that means the agent has been successfully installed. If I coming back to my CloudCasa web console, you can see my installation successful. Click close, and then you can see my cluster is active. So that means the command install the agent already talked to my CloudCasa, the control plane for the backup control plane. So click save, and then you can see, yeah, because I got lots of cluster here, it's not showing in the top. So I just do the K8SUG. So you can see my GKE for workshop. That's my cluster. It is showing active. We discovered your version, it's 1.26, and it's all running okay. So now the next step, you can see the installation is successful, everything good, it's showing active. And I already saved from the web console, we can see the details. So now next step, we're going to create a policy. So how the policy basically defines how often you want to do the backup, how long you want to keep. But this tool is specialized for the containers. So which is different than traditional backup tool. I don't know what other traditional backup tools you guys are familiar with, but none of these designed for containers. So CloudCasa is purpose built for the containers. So now let's create the policy. Under the protection, actually under configuration, there is a policy. So click the policies. You got a couple policy probably already created. For your case, it might be completely empty. You can click add a policy. You just give a policy name. So if you want, you can go back to the lab guides. I also have the screenshot. So you just give a policy name, how often you want to do the backup. You might choose hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, or you can customize. And how long you want to keep. You can keep the default 30 days, but you can make it longer as well. They also provided you the safe lock. That's the retention lock or object lock. So basically it can allow you to avoid the ransomware attack or malicious software attack to your backup repository. So I'm not going to create a policy here since I already have some other policies created. So go back to the lab guide here. So we already created another test policy, and then I did not. You can choose to add a multiple schedule, by the way. So once you're done, you can see your policy has been created. You might be running every hour. You might be running in addition to every hour. You're also running daily, weekly, monthly, etc. So once you define the policy, basically again, how long you want to do backup, how long you want to keep, how often you want to do the backup, how long you want to keep. Next, we're going to define backup. What do you want to backup? Do you want to backup the whole cluster or just select the critical application? And how do you want to back them up? Which policy you're going to attach to? So now, from the lab guide, you can see under protections, there is a backup. You can define a backup. Let me define a backup now. Under protection, there is a backups. And then from here, you can define a backup. So click define backup. You can give a name, let's say, but I got the post. This is just a backup name. You can give it the name or whatever you prefer, but it's meaningful. I'm gonna leave it to say GKE for workshop. That's my cluster name. So from this cluster, I'm going to do post snapshot and also do a copy. When you do the snapshot still sitting in the same cluster. If my whole cluster is gone, my whole data center is gone, everything is gone, including your backup. That's why we always send another copy to the object storage. In this case, it can be any S3 compatible storage. Could be Google Cloud Storage, could be Amazon S3, could be even your on-premise object storage. But the good thing here from CloudCasa is it comes with managed storage. But in the meantime, also give you the option to bring your own. So which cluster you want to back up? So I got my cluster here, GKE for workshop. I select my cluster. You can optionally add the tag. I don't want to add any tag now. Click next. How do you want to back them up? Do you want to back up the full cluster? I don't need to back up the whole cluster. What I really care is my application. So I can select my namespace. So for example, I just want to back up my own PostgreSQL namespace. And then you can, do you want to include in the persistent volume? It's very important. If you're running state of application, you don't need to include in the PVC, the persistent volume backup. And do you want to do snapshot only? I mentioned earlier, if you do snapshot only, your data center is gone, everything gone, including your backup. That's why I always recommend to use the snapshot and the copy. So you got another copy sitting outside of your cluster could be far away from a different region or different geo. So in case the whole data center is gone, you can still have a backup from somewhere else. Do you want to delete the snapshot after copy? I don't like the idea. The reason is in case I want to restore, I want to fast restore. If my data center is still good, why not do the local restore? Only the situation, the whole data center is gone, I can restore from the remote side, it could be from the cloud storage or other object storage. So that's once you done all of these settings, click next. Now you can select the policy. Let's say I just want to choose this policy. You can attach the policy to the backup job. So click next. So we got everything is good. And then click create. So we will create the backup policy basically. So any question here?
This one seems like you are running on a message on the workload to talk to the CloudCasa to do the backup. If the workload is no internet access.
So you're saying if the workload has no internet access?
There is like different level, maybe front level, interest level, they can access the internet. But the backend, the second level, maybe, yeah.
Okay, I got your question. So basically the question is, if I don't have the internet access, how I can connect it to CloudCasa? You don't need the access to CloudCasa via the port 443. So basically that's all we need. We just need your access, outbound access to port 443. We do have a few IP addresses.
So we need to do the like the security access, security broker like global policy to allow this one.
You don't need to have the access either from a proxy. You might have the proxy to allow the selected workloads to access the internet by the port 443 to select the IP address from CloudCasa. Otherwise, basically, you don't need direct internet access, but you do need via the proxy, or could be the other use possibilities. Since your cluster, it's already running from the cloud.
Yeah.
And CloudCasa also running in the cloud. You can create the private link between CloudCasa and your cloud. So in that case, the traffic are not going to pass through the internet. It's just between your cloud. Could be the same cloud but different account. Yeah.
I know what.
Okay. So any other questions? So we got the policy has been created here. So right now the policy is showing here. You can see the backup name GKE for workshop PG snap copy. It will be automatically running based on your schedule. Right now I did every hour. It will automatically to schedule. But if you don't want to wait, you can click run now. So after you click run now, you got the option, do you want to keep it 7 days or you can increase? It's a one-time job. Yeah, you do have the option to customize. I just keep it 7 days, click run now. So now we're going to do the snapshot, keep our copy on the local cluster, and then copy another snapshot to the object storage. So that will be more safe, more reliable. That is a very good question. The question is, where is the object storage? Right? By default, CloudCasa does provide you the managed storage. So you don't have to, if you choose to use the managed storage, you don't have to care where it is. It is sitting from our CloudCasa, the managed storage from the cloud. But if you say, I want to have my data sitting in my country or in my own premises object storage, it is also customizable. You can bring your own storage, object storage. Yeah. Any other questions? So the job has been kicked off. If you go back to the dashboard, you can see, let me make it smaller. You can see on the right-hand side, you can see the job has been running. If you want to have a more visibility, you can click the job and then you will see the job is running. When I started the job, how long it has been passed. And actually the one which I really love is activity. It gives you the detailed steps where we are right now. So you have more visibility into the job, what's happening. And once the job finished, you will see the summary, how long we complete the job, what is my PVC details. This is my persistent volume. I only have a small 1 GB PV here. And my PV details from the copy also completed. So you can see estimated size, 38 megabytes. We only transfer like a 7 megabytes because they got the built-in compression deduplication. Okay, my original PV, it's 1 GB. So come back to the overview, you can see the job just took under 2 minutes. We already complete the snapshot. We already copy to the object storage. That is another question, good question. So the question is that every time it's a full backup or it's an incremental? So the idea is, so CloudCasa leverage the CSI driver to do the snapshot. As long as your storage supports the incremental, it will always increment. But nowadays, most of the storage actually they do incremental. So essentially, you're always running the incremental backups. Yeah. Okay. What do you guys think? It's so simple, so easy to enable the backup. Now it's the restore job. I give you guys the challenge. Are you guys with me? And the people join us via Zoom. Any questions? So we are already here. We finished this 22, page 22. So we already complete the policy creation. We already run the first time on-demand job, and the job already completed successfully. So you can see all the details. Yeah, if you missed anything, definitely the lab guide, you just follow through, you should be able to complete the whole testing. So now it comes to the next part. Do you guys want to challenge yourself to do the restore? Or you want to see? I can show you how to do it. So basically the restore, once you already have the backup, you are not only have one copy, you also have another copy to the object store. You can, when it comes to restore, you can choose to restore from the local copy or from the external copy. And you can do the full restore in place. I know my container somehow it's gone. I don't know how to fix it. I just restore everything in place back to the original namespace. Or you might say, I want to clone to a new namespace. Just do some troubleshooting or investigation. You don't want to use your production system to do the investigation. It might break stuff. So you can clone to a new namespace. Or could be someone, say, accidentally deleted your config maps or your service account, or any one of the objects is missing, it will cause some problems. It also allow you to do the granular individual spec artifacts recovery. Yeah? Are we all good? So let me quickly show you the recovery piece. Did you guys notice here? There is a blue a box here. It's showing completed. So that means that my job already completed successfully. By default, it shows your last 3 successful runs or failed jobs. And next to that, there is an icon called restore. So click the restore. You do have the options. You can choose any one of the copy. So you can see the 38 megabytes. That's the one copy to the object storage. Because there is a deduplication, there is a compression. The 1 gigabytes, that's the BBC snapshot. It's still sitting in the storage. Yeah, you can choose any one of the copy for the restore. Let's say my production system is gone. I want to recover, but you're not able to recover from the local copy. So I can choose from the external copy for the recovery. So click next. So now select what do you want to recover. You can recover everything you protected. But for now, it's the same for me. Because I only protect the one namespace. So you can select the namespace. You might have protected 10 different namespaces. You only want to restore one namespace. You do have the option to choose them. And then what do you want to recover? Somebody deleted my secrets or configure maps. I just want to recover the individual resource. Can I do that? So you can select the resource type. And from here, you can say, maybe it's a little bit harder to see. Let's say config map. So we allow just restore the config map. Or maybe some other stuff, like, let's say role binding. So you do have the option to selectively restore the individual namespace or individual objects. So let me delete this one. I just want to do a very simple, quicker, very useful restore. Instead of doing the full restore in place, it's pretty simple, right? I'm going to clone to a new namespace. So click next. Oh, this is the best part. I really love it. So on the market, you don't see any other tool allow you to spin up a new cluster, part of your restore. So it's always, you need to prepare your cluster ready before you can do the restore. So CloudCasa allow you to create a new cluster, which is very cool. So think about a disaster recovery situation. Do you really want to have your DR cluster keeps running 24/7? Obviously, the cloud providers will keep charging you. By creating new cluster part of the restore, you save a lot of money. When I want my production side is gone, I want to the DR started to run immediately. I can spin up a new cluster. All of these are automatically. So that means I will spin up a new cluster from all of the supported cloud provider. Let's say a Google GKE cluster, and it will allow you to select the cloud account. I haven't show you how to add the cloud account yet. It's towards the lab guide to the end. There are a little bit more steps to complete that. So once you connect the cloud account, it will list here. So that means when I want to recover to my DR cluster, you can choose any other different account, different project also works. But as long as you connect the cloud account to CloudCasa, it allows you to have these capabilities. Before I can do the restore, I will create a new cluster, then automatically deploy the agent, and then automatically start to the restore. So basically, once you complete the steps, you will have a DR cluster running. The container is already being restored. Okay, any question here for this one? This is one of the best part. I really love it. Okay, so for now, let me just choose my existing cluster. So that means I just want to restore to my original cluster. But you also have the option to rename to a different namespace. That means I want to clone to a new namespace. Let's say I want to make the namespace append the dash clone. So if I coming back to the Cloud Shell, let me do another list of the namespace. You can see I only have Yongkang-PostgreSQL. But when I restore the job, after I restore the job to dash clone, you will see a new namespace that has been created. Not only just a new namespace, all the pods, all the spec artifacts will be running from the new namespace. It's not override your existing one, it's a clone to a new namespace. So click next. Yeah, you also have the option. You might want to part of the restore. You want to choose a different storage class, also possible. So that's this option to choose a different storage class. So now, next, you give name. Let's say I want to clone PG. So that's my GKE for workshop. PostgreSQL clone. You give a name of the restore job. Click restore. So now shortly you will see the job will be showing here. The restore job will be showing here. And you can also check the job details. You see initially it is running. You can also monitor the details, the progress. So click the activity, you can see we're going to initiate the restore process. And we're going to temporarily create a credential. And then we restore all of the resources. And shortly, if you go back to the Cloud Shell, if you do another list, you can see. Did you guys see that? Can you guys see? Yeah, bottom of the screen, the PostgreSQL dash clone, it has been already created. What about my pods? Is the pods all up running? So you can see the pods also up running, not yet, but it should be up running shortly. Any question here about the restore? Is that good? Easy to follow, yeah? But if I'm going to get to the node status, guess what happened? There's still one node. And let's see. The restore job. So the number of restore. And check here. Let me see. The job has been completed. So the one which, how long it take? 47 seconds. And if I check it again, the pod list, it was last time we checked, it's where it is. Container creating. Yeah, it's almost there. So that's how we do the restore. And Google also makes life easier. If the resource is not enough to support your restored job, it will automatically spin up the new nodes, as long as you enable the auto scaling. But for my automation, I also spin up the auto scaling. That's why you can see, actually, did you guys notice that there is another one just started 14 seconds ago? Because I need to run a restore job, I actually also need an additional resource, but you don't have enough resource. That's why it create another work node. So now you can see I got 2 work nodes running. . Actually 3. I need 3. But anyway, that's about the Google GK. You can enable the auto scaling, allow us to automatically scaling up and scaling down. So my research job already finished. Any question? I don't know how many of you also completed the up here yet. But if you haven't completed yet, the lab guide is already there. You can try anytime. You can just follow the guide. You should be able to complete. If you do have any questions, have any challenges, feel free to connect to me by any one of the ways. I also, I did including some other additional stuff. So once you've done your testing, let's say you want to clean up, you want to try again, you can remove CloudCasa. Here is a few commands you can remove. And you can also just run the gk-destroy, which will remove the whole cluster, including CloudCasa. Everything will be removed. So basically to clean up the cluster. Yeah. And if you really allow to, that's the one, if you want to have the capability to automatically to spin up a new cluster, you do need to connect the Cloud account to CloudCasa. But these are additional steps. Yeah, I'm not going to time-wise, I'm not going to show you all of these, but you can follow the guide to try by yourself. So towards the end, I also included a few links and also some of my contact details. Feel free to connect me if you have any other questions or you find any problems from my automation scripts. Okay, so the other thing I haven't touched on is maybe just spend a few minutes to show you. So the day-to challenges, the number one challenge, how the backup works, how the DR works from my containers. What if I want to move my containers from on-premise to the cloud? Maybe you don't like one cloud, you want to move it to a different cloud, or you want to move back to on-premises. That's something CloudCasa can help you. The other challenge is data security. How secure my cluster? How secure my cloud account? So from here, you do have the security settings. Yeah, I'm not going to show you too much here, but just to give you some idea, feel free to give it a try. So from the security here, you can see, you can create the scan job, a security scan job. It will scan your cluster to say, is there any problems with my container creation configuration? Is there any problems with the CIS benchmark, based on the CIS benchmark? How you can secure your cluster? Is there any problem with the network? So Kubernetes network related vulnerabilities. So the CloudCasa allow you to scan your cluster. So I know it's a little bit late. Yeah, we're just about a few minutes past the time. What do you guys think? I hope it is useful to you guys. And if you guys do have any questions, feel free to come back to me. No, I don't think it requires a professional account. So even the free, it's built in, it provided for free as well. Yeah, you can give it a try. So how many of you created the trial account yet? So here is an opportunity. I think Ryan from CloudCasa, he's still here. If you guys are willing to provide some feedbacks to CloudCasa, they are willing to send you gift cards. Yeah. So Ryan still here. So feel free to get a name card from him. If you guys are willing to test, to try, and to provide feedbacks, and Ryan from CloudCasa are more than happy to provide us gift cards. And also thanks to Ryan from CloudCasa to provide us some swags. So the swag we have today is the USB charger, USB charge cable. So I'm actually using right now. So it's a pretty small form one. It's a 3-in-1. But just be aware it's USB, not USB-C. But how I was initially thinking, my laptop is only USB-C, how I can use this, cable. But then I realized, oh, I can use the connect. But I don't have the connector for everybody, but you do have the option. Yeah, basically that's the USB cable provided by CloudCasa. Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
So to restore, let's say I restore a data, but is there any additional data transfer cost from the cloud provider?
I think for all of the cloud providers, they will charge the egress cost. But let's say you back up to CloudCasa and then you want to restore from CloudCasa. Actually, that question I need to ask Ryan. So let's say they back up to CloudCasa, the managed storage. When they are going to restore, there is no additional charges from the cloud point of view.
No, right? So it depends on where, I guess, where, so we provide a couple of different options, right? So CloudCasa natively, if you purchase with CloudCasa, we provide you a bucket. So it's actually, we pay for that bucket, right? So we actually absorb those charges. But there's also certain customers which may say, I want to choose to use my own object storage, right? And whether it's AWS, it could be on-premise, at that point, those you guys are absorbing those charges, right? But typically how it works is also if you have your own object storage, right, we can provide additional discounting because we're not effectively absorbing the charges. You guys are the ones that are having the back end storage at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Any
Anybody
other?
else?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No questions? If no other questions, do you guys mind? We want to take a group photo before you go. Don't forget, we also have the charging cable is for everybody. Yeah. All right, everybody. Let's take a group photo, please. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for coming. Open mic, open mic. Oh yes, yeah, open mic. Actually, is there anyone want to introduce yourself, or maybe you have anything to announce, or you're looking for a job, or maybe you are offering a job? So a few upcoming meetups are already showed up earlier. I will share the slide deck shortly. Yeah. If no other questions, yeah, do you want to all come up here? Let's take a group photo. Yeah, please. Thank you.
I'm happy to hear open mic.
Please be seated.
Oh, okay.
It's open mic.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody wants to speak, most welcome to come on the mic and speak. If you have any opening in your organization, we would love you to come on the stage and speak. Just if you want to speak anything, you're most welcome to speak. Just to please.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Shen. So I met Yongkang because he came to the Microsoft Azure Security Meetup and we connected a little bit. So a little background about me. I was previously with Microsoft. So today is my last day with Microsoft. And the next step for me is really, I actually have a light bulb that went off and I founded the wellness startup called Welcome Today. It is a support community to support people in such time where the layoff is happening and there's a lot of pain actually going on. So beneath the smiling face that we see, there's actually genuinely a lot of unspoken pain. So I love to actually help out this group of people. And I know people who are not impacted, they probably suffer from survivor guilt and survivor pain as well. So it's a matter of coming together to actually help our friends and connect at a human level. So I'm actually scheduling support sessions and meetups and for this wellness community. So I'm on LinkedIn. feel free to hit me up. And my startup is called Well From Today. The simple truth is literally we only have today. And today we can do something different to actually move forward. I hope, I can inspire people and genuinely help them in this difficult journey, because nobody loved layoff, nobody exactly loved changes, and it's hard, it's tough. And personally, I have been laid off more than once, and this is probably like my third or fourth layoff, because I'm open-minded. I've actually been in Microsoft, I've been in Google as a contractor, because I see the opportunity to learn in the short while, working with wonderful people like you and inspiring people. So I kept an open mind, but that means, there's a lot of risks that comes with contracting. We are the first to go and doesn't necessarily get paid a lot as well. So, but it is an experience, in adversity, I actually, faced this pain and found the strength to really follow my dreams and go to help people. So that's why, hence the business name Well From Today, and the tagline, the slogan is together we can. Nobody needs to be alone. Everybody, we can actually spend 5-10 minutes to actually listen to someone, and you may actually help them. So I urge you, it's like, be kind to our fellow friends. If anyone you never know behind a smiling face what they are going through. So be bold and ask, how are you? Genuinely, and be open to listen. So that is me. I'm also open to opportunity in marketing and relations. But for now, I see there's like a higher purpose in me to really, help people with my wellness startup. And I'm in a developmental stage. I honestly accelerated this startup compared to 4 years ago, because I believe in the branding approach instead of a product approach, and also genuinely touching the lives of people, so that you trust me, you trust the brand, you trust the people you're supporting. And that is how I want to move forward. So I'm open to ideas. Feel free to connect with me. I love to hear all the interesting ideas that you gain from your experience, your work, your friends, your family, anything that could actually help to make people's life a bit better on a daily basis. So I really thank you for the time to listen to me for the past few minutes. And yeah, my name is Shen, XUAN space HOR. I'm on LinkedIn. So hit me up. Thank you so much.
Anyone else want to say anything?
Anybody else? Yeah, sure. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Guang, and I'm currently a year 1 student studying computer science in SMU. So previously, it has been some time back already, probably a month or two, right? So recently, me and one of my friends from the Renaissance Engineering program in NTU, we were actually contracted to work with one of the ladies from the investment bank for one of her own personal projects. So that got us thinking that actually a lot of my friends, they are just spending time doing their own projects on GitHub, and then after that, from there, they don't really have much real world experience like before they finish school and all that. So it's really like me and my friend, both of us are year 1. We got, I would say that our opportunities got lined up for us, and so as such, we were presented with such a good opportunity for us to learn. And right now we are currently still building towards our MVP, but probably in about 3 to 4 months time, we'll get our MVP done, we'll get our Series A done, because the lady herself has all the infrastructure available already. So both of us came from an AI background. So yeah, so if anyone has any opportunities of similar nature, whether it be paid or unpaid, there are a lot of our friends that are interested to be exposed to this kind of opportunities for them to do projects outside of their passion projects on GitHub. Yeah, so maybe if anyone wants my contact, they can come up to me after the networking. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
That's awesome. We do encourage people to help each other. Yeah.
That's nice. Anybody else who would like to come, have some word, would like to introduce yourself?
That's a
Please.
last chance.
Thank you. Do I use this? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Excuse. Yes, just fine. Right. Yeah.
You want to connect to my
Yeah, in the meantime, before they sort it out,
browser?
Yeah,
we
first.
have enough, we have
Yeah,
still
thank
some
you.
pizza left. So, if you guys want to take it home, so feel free to take it home and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Hello, guys. I'm Itaejeong, based on South Korea, Seoul. I'm graph data scientist. Thank you. Anyway, I am the community builder of the graph community. So domain is graph user group. People is 150 in there. So content is there. Graph omakase in Medium too. Parallel just in later. Anyway, graph tutorial is 11. So what's the motivation participated in this event? I saw the Ray in Spotify engineering. Yeah, that makes the ML infrastructure consists of all about them Ray combination with Kubernetes. Yeah, so that's short. Thanks to everything. This is my LinkedIn link too. So anyway, guys is interested in graph data scientists. So always I'm open to message to me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Can I?
I think, can we take one more?
Yeah.
There is one guy who would like to talk.
Okay, serious. Last one.
Okay, so this is the last one. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alfred. I work for VF Corporation. So those who doesn't know who is VF Corporation, we owns the brands, people and brands. So nowadays, it's IT company. Why I'm here? We have a job opportunity, mainly for the cloud position, and I like to showcase the same in the LinkedIn.
Sure.
Good.
So if you search for VF Corporation in LinkedIn, sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay, fine, sorry.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay, so there are some positions available in Singapore location. So we mainly look for a senior cloud analyst. We give priority for those who guys affected because of the recent layoffs. Saying that, we are open for everyone. We are just putting this position.
Is this one?
Yeah. The senior, sorry.
All jobs? Yeah, now.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. No, it's in Singapore location. So you'll find out. I can find it out in my phone. Somehow it is not coming in the laptop.
You can go to on-site/remote and I believe you can select then an option. Is this the one, senior data analyst?
No, it's
Higher
for
class?
senior. Yeah, senior data analyst. Senior support for
last
higher
one.
level. Yeah.
Yeah, senior data is one.
Yeah, this is one of the. This is not for my team. For my team, there's a specific opening called senior cloud analyst. So let your
let your group or let your circle know that there are job openings. And for your information, we didn't lay off anyone during this difficult phase. So I appreciate your cooperation for that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, can you tell us your name? Your name again, because Alfred from BF Corporation. Okay, you guys can look him up in LinkedIn.
Photo time.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, so it's end of time. And now it's a group photo. I would request everyone to please come towards let's come together and take a selfie, please.